because my goal was if I can help people younger than myself to get to healing quicker than I did and see themselves in a better way than I did at an earlier age, that will be like my greatest success. And
Amen. Wow. That that is a powerful testimony, I must admit. Um, so we're almost done. We just have one more question and a few quick hitters. And this last question is looking back on those 20 plus years, how has your relationship with that little girl with the big smile evolved?
um, I really think, I just can look at that little girl and go, that was always who she was. She
Mm.
was always the little girl with the big smile who had a lot of joy and a lot of love to give that may not have been able to fully walk that out in childhood, but now
Mm.
as an adult, I get to. And, I am proud of that little girl and everything that she went
Mm.
through. I
Mm.
struggle sometimes to um think of myself as fondly, but I think the greatest thing that's helped me is having my own children.
Yeah.
And when I think about how, I have a 2-year old and a 10-month-old, and
Oh.
how much I adore them and how much I look at them and think like, I love you, like
Mm.
so much. And you were just like perfection in my eyes, and how I'm just like, oh my gosh, like that's what I was worthy of as a kid. And even though
Mm.
I didn't get to experience it, like that is how at least God views me. And I'm
Mm.
learning now how other people in my life, view me in that very, positive light. I couldn't really let people into that when I was at Hemeter, at White Pine, at Heritage. I had a really hard time knowing how to let anybody into seeing the hurts
Of
and the
course. Mm-hmm.
braveness,
Mm-hmm.
during that time. But when I went to college, I really started to open up, and that was where, healing really started to happen.
Mm.
Um, I felt the safety to be transparent with my peers,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Mm-hmm.
faced zero rejection from them and complete
Mm.
acceptance. And
Mm.
that was what led me down the road of being able to be transparent and not have apprehension anymore about sharing these aspects of my life. There was no longer shame. There's no longer shame. There was never any need to feel embarrassed about what happened to me because it was never my fault. And now that I know those things, I can share those things openly. And I have had and have so much to offer that I
Definitely.
brought into my career with the kids that I worked with to help them see themselves at a younger age. Because my goal was if I can help people younger than myself to get to healing quicker than I did and see themselves in a better way than I did at an earlier age, that will
Mm.
be like my greatest success. And now as
Mm.
a parent, if I can like love my kids in such a way that they have the assets that I didn't have as a kid, and they can
Mm-hmm.
grow up and be a kid and not have to grow up so quickly,
Mm-hmm.
that will be a great success of mine to show them love, um, to show them acceptance, to not have to feel rejection and abandonment and abuse, at such a young age, like as much as I can possibly control. Um, just doing my best to make sure that they have a different experience. Like that makes me feel like going through those hard things was worth it for what I can
Mm.
bring into other people's lives now.
Mm-hmm.
And even peers, who may have experienced something different, maybe more traumatic, maybe less traumatic. I mean, really, the judge of trauma doesn't really matter to the individual.
Of course.
Trauma is trauma.
Right.
But I do always feel like I've had people ask me, like, if you could do it all over again and never have gone through any of that stuff, would you have the perfect childhood? And I'm like, no, because
Mm.
I don't know I would have grown up as a person. I could have been a total brat.
Yeah.
Like I could have been a total selfish brat. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
who I would have been. I know that my experiences have shaped who I am as a person, and I like who am as a person
That's
being
great.
shaped by those experiences. So
Definitely.
I love that little girl, and I'm happy to say that, the smile feels a lot more genuine
Oh,
now,
wow.
even more.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay,